coal miner, covered in soot, took his son to a basketball game. What happened next left the family in tears. There was absolutely no way Michael Maguire was ever going to miss his 3-year-old son's first ever trip to see the popular University of Kentucky men's basketball team right in person. Even if it had meant showing up to the arena completely covered in soot from his job in a coal mine. Parents will make sacrifices for their children all of the time. Sometimes they are large, and sometimes they are small, like simply coming straight from work just to participate in a special event. Michael Maguire happens to be that sort of dad. He is a coal miner who, despite being completely covered in soot after a shift in the mines, immediately rushed to be with his 3-year-old Easton and attend their very first live basketball game together. As Maguire sat in his entire work uniform and boots, he and Easton were enjoying watching the famous University of Kentucky men's basketball blue-white scrimmage, which was taking place in the eastern part of the state. Their quality time at the game instantly caught the attention of none other than the University of Kentucky's head basketball coach, John Calipari, also known as Coach California. The coach quickly snapped a photo of the two and then tweeted, "My family's American dream first started in a Clarksburg, WV coal mine. So this picture definitely hits home." He even wanted to give the family something special. He had no idea who these people were, but he said that he had tickets for him along with his family at the Rupp Arena, to be treated as VIPs. Social media and Kentucky fans did their best to help and to immediately identify Maguire, who was unaware of all the fanfare simply because he was in the mines that day with no cell reception. But as he was driving home, his phone suddenly had non-stop notifications. Finally, he decided to call his wife Molly, who had told him that he had become an internet sensation. Molly said that it brought her to tears just knowing that so many people had reached out. "It was so incredibly heartwarming to see so many strangers thanking my husband, simply appreciating him for what he does for our family, and then to have Coach Cal do that, it was nothing short of amazing," said Molly. She had never imagined that her day was going to be like this when they got up that morning. The family then received VIP treatment at a future University of Kentucky game. They would all be Calipari's guests for dinner, also enjoy a pre-game shoot-around, meet the players, and even sit in courtside seats at Rupp Arena. However, they haven't selected which game to attend yet, but it will definitely be a memorable one. Maguire has to work long hours, almost 6 days a week, at a coal mine, which is about 40 minutes away from the arena itself. And he was determined to get to this game even if it meant not having any time to wash himself off. Maguire added that he had decided to rush to the game as even going home to freshen up after work would have easily meant missing most of the match. Calipari and Maguire have since been in contact, with Calipari also later telling reporters that several local businesses and hotels have been extremely eager to treat the family whenever they decide to come into Lexington for their exceptional VIP game experience. Isn't it just neat for someone like that, who is simply a quiet, humble guy, to know that people appreciate you? "And we truly appreciate everything you stand for," said Calipari to all reporters. "And I certainly appreciate it because it is how my family got their initial start in this very country." Maguire had grown up as a massive Kentucky basketball fan, watching all the games with his own father. So he was beyond excited to carry on this heartwarming tradition with his son. Easton has actually taken quite a huge interest in sports, so it was definitely the perfect time to buy the tickets for Easton and Michael to start that, said Molly. It didn't take too long for his son to be completely hooked on the excitement of everything that was Kentucky basketball. Michael even said that Easton was dancing and doing everything possible he could with all his excitement. Molly even said that it had been an extremely fun experience for their family. While Maguire might have stood out in the crowd at this game, it's certainly not unusual to see coal miners covered all over in soot and dust at any of their kids' sporting events in eastern Kentucky. Considering the very prominence of the industry in that entire area, this year's blue-white game was especially important to the region as it had raised more than $162,000 to help all the victims of the summer's terrible floods that took place in eastern Kentucky. Floyd County, where the Maguire live, happened to be one of the worst-hit areas. Heroes may not always wear capes, as sometimes they could come looking like Santa after a very long day of jumping down chimneys.